Hey there. Would you like to learn the flute? Because I think you would. You would want to learn the coolest instrument, right? Yeah. Okay, well, let me teach you how. All right, so we have our flute case right here. Some people's cases may have an outer case like mine does, but most likely if you have a beginner flute, yours will not. So I'm going to take out my case and show you how to open this thing and tell you about the parts a little bit. Hello from a different angle. Here is our flute. I have set it on a sturdy platform in order to open it. If we have it set on an unsteady surface, we could risk the parts falling out and risking damage. And that's no good. We don't want damage. So once we find a steady surface to place our case on, we are going to take these two little things. They look like buttons, but I think of them more as like levers. So we're going to take them and push them both outwards at the same time. See both of them out and this one out. And then our case will lift. All right, you will notice there are three parts to our flutes here. We have our head joint, we have the body of our flute, and we have the foot of our flute. So let's take a look at this head joint real quick. All right, I have our first piece here. This is our wonderful head joint. This is what creates the sound on our flutes. We have this little embouchure hole here, and surrounding it, this is our lip plate. This is where we place our lips for the sound to be generated. On top here, we have what is called a crown. And inside, we have a cork. And I'm going to show you how to adjust that in case it is incorrect. All right, most flutes should come with a wand of some sorts. I like to call it the wand. This is also known as a cleaning rod. It has one side with like this little hole in it, and then this other side that has a nice little notch. Every wand should have this notch. So what you're going to do when you first get a flute, especially if it's from your school, if you're renting from your school, you're going to stick this inside your head joint and take a look at that line. If it is in the middle, your cork is in the correct position. But if it is not, get help from your band director and they will help you adjust this cork. But I will show you that it would be unscrewing this top part and adjusting the cork as needed. All right, the next piece I will talk about is this very long joint here. This is called the body of our flute. All right, so I'm holding the body with us. My flute has these tone holes in some of the keys. Most beginner flutes, I believe all beginner flutes, do not have these tone holes, so do not worry about that part. And in order to assemble the body to our head joint, we're going to see this part with like two little ridges. I call this the barrel. I'm going to hold the instrument by the barrel. I'm going to take the head joint and I'm going to slide it in. I like to twist mine a little bit as I'm going in. Now notice there's a little bit of unpretty part showing. It's not all shiny. I gotta show some of the unshiny. This is so we can stay in tune. You want about 1/4 of an inch, not very much, but just a little bit. Because if we stick it all in, it's going to be very sharp and not very fun it's not going to create a very fun sound. And last, but certainly not least, we have our wonderful foot joint. Alrighty, my foot joint is going to look a little different from yours because I have an extra special key here, this third key. Your beginner flute will just have these two keys here. Just those two. So, in order to assemble it, we have the head joint with the body. And now on this other end, we need to attach the body to the foot. And now to align everything, we want to see that the bar on your foot joint is in line with the center of your keys on the body. So I'm going to adjust mine a little bit. And now I'm going to look straight down my flute. And I'm going to see if this embouchure hole, if it is in line with the keys. So mine looks pretty in line, so I think I'm good. But make sure your embouchure hole is in line with the keys and that the bar of the foot joint is in line with the body of the flute. Hooray, the flute's put together. But now what? Well, that's a great question, me from 2 seconds ago. I'm going to show you where to place your fingers on the keys of our flute. So unlike most instruments that are played vertically, ours are played horizontally. And the body and the foot joint of our flute are going to be on the right side of our body. So if you need to do the L's, figure out what way is right, and then face your flute that way. All right, let's take a look at what our left hand is supposed to do. So let's take a look at the keys that are closest to our head joint here. Our first finger is going to not go on this key, it's gonna skip and go on this first key here. In our second finger, it's also skipping a key and go into this one. And then our third finger is gonna go right here. So it goes 1, skip, 2, 3. And your pinky is going to go on this lever sticking out. In our thumb, I will show you on the back, we have 2 thumb keys here. We have this double thumb key, and we have this one that's shaped like an oar. When you're first learning the flute, I recommend placing your thumb on the oar, and this will make more sense later. Okay, so we know what keys to put our left hand on, but in order to make holding the flute a more comfortable experience, take your left hand with your palm facing the right, and you're going to curve it back, make a candy cane out of your first finger. Candy cane. And now with that candy cane, I take this first knuckle joint here, and I'm going to set that on the side of my flute and curve over. Remember, this is able to slide, so let it slide to make it most comfortable to find that first key. And then remember, we skip and we place 2, 3, and pinky, and then our thumb goes on that oar. So one of our balance points that we are creating is that knuckle in our first finger. Look at that, you're creating beautifully arched fingers with your fingers over the center of the keys on your left hand. Now let's see what you need to do with your right hand. So on a flute that has tone holes, it is very easy to see where to place your right hand, I think. But on a beginner flute, you won't have this. So just take a look at where the end of your body joint is. And your fingers 1, 2, and 3 are going to go on the last 3 keys right there. Make sure the fleshy parts of your fingertips are on the center. Okay. And now with our thumb, it is going to be arched. And you can either place it underneath your first finger like so. But for me, I like to place my thumb in between my first and second finger here on the bottom of the barrel. This is creating another one of our balance points that we will have. And our pinky is going to go on the closest key on the foot joint, like closest to the body here. All right, a good tip for your right hand to keep your fingers nice and curved is to take that drinking glass, take like a drinking glass, and we're gonna tilt it on its side. You see how we're creating arched fingers? And we're creating even an arched thumb and arched pinky. And then with that drinking glass on its side, we place it on our flute, like so. Now with our candy cane finger and our arched thumb, we have created 2 balance points. And our third balance point that we have is our head. So the head joint is going to be nestled on your chin. Have your balance point here and your balance point at your thumb, and there you go. You have it. You have your balance points. Hooray! We now know what we are doing with our fingers and what our balance points are. But what do we do with our arms here? Wow, past me. You're really great at asking those questions. So let's talk about what our arms do. I'm going to talk about our left arm first. Okay, so our left arm with our flute in position, we're going to keep this as relaxed as possible along our side. And we don't want to create a chicken flying away. We do this because we do not want our wrist to bend more than 30 degrees. Remember that number, 30 degrees. So we create a relaxed arm so that our wrist is in a comfortable position so that we do not use any more tension than what is needed. Now for our right arm, we are going to have it on our keys, and we're also going to create a relaxed right arm. Remembering also with our right arm, we do not want a bend that is more than 30 degrees. And if we were to look at an upward angle, we would see a triangle created with my arm and the flute. I'm going to do my best to show you what the triangle looks like. So if you were to see me from an upward angle, you would see the triangle between my right arm and the flute that is created. Okay. Gotta review. The thumb, first finger, not on that first key, with our balance point being on that knuckle, creating a candy cane shape. We skip 1, 2, 3, pinky. Our right hand, we're going to take that drinking glass, just turn it on its side, thumb, and then these last 3 keys for our 3 fingers, and then our pinky goes on this closest pinky key. I think I got it. And when we put it up, we have our 3 balance points. Here, our first finger, and our thumb on our right hand. And our left arm is relaxed, and our right arm is also relaxed and creating a triangle here. I think I get it. What else do I need to know? What another great question. Let's talk about how to sit properly before you even start playing. All right, in order to sit properly, we need to find a proper chair to sit in. This chair in front of me is a great example because there are no clear obstructions on either side of the player, and it has a proper backrest. Hooray, we found a chair. So in order to sit properly, we most likely will not be able to rest our back along this backrest because that will often create slouching, and that does not create proper lung capacity that we need. So we're going to find a comfortable spot on the chair with our feet flat on the ground. So we're going to make sure our feet are flat on the ground, but if your feet are short and cannot reach the ground, you can cross your legs and place them back here, though it is very much more optimal to sit more on the front end of your chair with your feet flat on the ground. So we have found our chair. Huzzah! We are going to now talk about how the rest of our upper body should be sitting. So we don't want to create such a slouch position because that will collapse our lungs and allow us not to breathe as well. So we are going to sit confidently with our shoulders nice and relaxed. And a good way to feel this is shrug your shoulders and then drop them. That's a good way to feel it. And we are going to have our head balanced along an AO joint. There is a joint in the center of your head. If you point between your ears, in the middle of your head, there is a joint. And we are going to balance our head on that joint. And we are going to do this by dropping our head and then slowly rolling up until it takes the least amount of effort to hold up our heads. Okay, so shoulders up, relaxed. Head down, roll up on that AO joint. So now we are going to take our flute. I like to turn my body slightly to the right, like my entire body facing slightly to the right, because when we hold our flute, we are going to turn our head slightly to the left. And this creates less tension because we are not trying to twist our bodies as much. This is the natural direction in which our bodies want to twist when we are holding the flute. Awesome. You guys are doing such a great job. We have learned how to assemble our instrument, what each of the parts are called, how to adjust this part if needed, preferably ask your band director, how to place our keys, how to properly sit, how to balance our shoulders, how to balance our head, and how to hold the flute while we're playing it. In the next video, coming soon, will be about how to create a good sound on your instrument. Hey, what are you still doing here? I gotta get back to practice. I'll see you in the next video when I teach you more about the flute.